I broke my own record. I saw 4 movies in one day just to cover this video. I did not know it was physically possible, but there's nothing that 3 Americanos and 2 Red Bulls can't get you through. It was a rough day. It was a rather dull weekend at the movies if you consider the Indian movie releases, so I thought I would go and watch as many movie releases this Friday, and what essentially came out of it was a horror movie marathon and me finally wanting to talk about movies that confuse me to no degree and somewhat entertain me as well. Yes, this video is not only going to be talking about the horror movies of this weekend, but also some films that just categorically fried my brain in a good and bad way too. You'll understand what I'm talking about as the video progresses. It's just crazy that Hollywood's offerings were this, and this, and what Hindi cinema had to offer was this. Just remember that I have categorized these 5 movies on the basis of ascending order of disturbing, confusing, and horrifying. Also, what I believe is the right order of quality too. So getting right into it, here is Tried&Refused Productions with 5 movies this weekend that totally blew my mind. Number 5 goes to The Holy Ghost. This is a movie that I went in for absolutely cold turkey. It had limited showcasing and I genuinely only went in for the film because it was one of the 4 horror movies that were playing near me. This movie and the next film I'm going to be talking about have opened my eyes regarding the international work Indians are trying to do in the indie space. You are stepping in for a Hollywood movie but will only see desi names in the crew. The Holy Ghost is written and directed by Shravan Tiwari and is produced by Sandeep Patel. This is a movie that doesn't get more indie. And it is clear from the first frame of the film. The movie focuses on the death of a police officer during a burglary attempt and how the spirit aids people in need, creating a moral confusion among characters not only on the sheer existence of spirits, but whether they are to be trusted or not. Can there be anything such as a good and noble ghost, and if so, should one accept them as their guiding light, like God? If you think about it, this is an extremely interesting concept that could potentially become an entertaining and chilling film. However, the movie is severely let down by its subpar execution. As I previously said, the film is as indie as it gets, so it has mediocre acting performances, the cinematography is extremely flat and desaturated, the lighting in the scenes is extremely harsh on the skin and faces of the characters, and the film lacks the tension to build an eerie atmosphere ideal for the film's premise. What's extremely corny about the film is that it utilizes a red LED light effect in order to denote the existence of the spirit, like an extension of TikTok beauty influencers who cannot do without their ring light. It really gave the energy of a student assignment project for a skit versus an indie feature film. What's also clear from every frame is that many interior shots of this film have been essentially executed in the same house, almost as if the makers just wanted to be efficient with their budget, so they placed the detective's office in the drawing room of a house with 4 desks almost to denote their headquarters, but yeah, they're just in a living room. Irrespective of the technical quality of this film, I must say that the film's concept is extremely interesting, especially on how it all comes together in the concluding minutes. It goes beyond the concept of angels and demons and executes a twisted climax that really papered over the subpar technical qualities of the film. This is only forgivable because the film's running time is 1 hour and 42 minutes. However, its snail-paced screenplay, its flat visual quality and awkward performances honestly make it last in the pecking order of horror films that I saw this weekend, hence being in the number 5 position. Number 4 goes to Sister Midnight. This is a movie that I have been waiting to talk about. You might be wondering why this film has been included in the horror genre, but trust me, the visuals and themes of this film in the trailer might look zany, fun and insanely wild, but the 0 to 100 progression of this film's storyline easily will justify its existence in this list. I saw this movie on the 4th of June in the one show that was near me in Noida, and it is one of the only times where I have stood outside with a subscriber during the interval and both of us were like, the movie is weird, right? And he went like, weirder than I thought. I said, I don't get it. He said, I don't get it either. While everyone on the internet will claim to be the most intellectual cinephiles who can deduce every eccentric detail of films, I have to confess to you that I did not understand this film for the life of me. I rewatched it on Prime Video on rent, thinking that the CBFC may have severely cut this film in its theatrical version, but nope. I still don't get it. The movie, with its 1 hour and 45-minute running time, is directed by Karan Kandhari, another example of Indians abroad absolutely killing it in the indie space. The movie has nothing to do with Bollywood, and it's a UK production and focuses on Uma, played by Radhika Apte, who gets married to Gopal, played by Ashok Pathak. The characters don't get along with each other, and it seems to be family liabilities that were married off so that the families can be relieved of the stress. The insane progression of events as the couple lives together in this matchbox of an apartment forms the storyline of Sister Midnight. The cinematographer Swear Sordal captures the organized chaos of Mumbai beautifully. I haven't seen such filth be showcased so beautifully. The film's frames are reminiscent of Wes Anderson films. Just replace the squeaky clean sets with the organized jungle that is Mumbai and you get this film. In an apartment that barely gets any natural light, there is a sliver of sunlight that brings some respite for Uma. Radhika Apte is absolutely exceptional in this film. A firecracker just waiting to explode, wanting to escape from this mundane life, just wanting to be set free, feeling mostly like a caged animal. The film and its screenplay is just odd, cutting scenes in random intervals, jumping timelines in some instances, disorienting you completely on what is happening. It makes you then start putting a cinephile brain on. What does this movie really mean? Is everything an allegory for a more nuanced subject? Is it on the status of women in society? Is it about gender norms? Is it about schizophrenia? Is it about depression and how it manifests in several ways? Is it a straight up vampire movie? Yes. Those are the leaps that you're taking while watching this film. It's in the second half that the movie takes such artistic wild swings that even my deduction skills could not keep up, wanting to conclude कि भाई अब मेरे कुछ पल्ले नहीं पड़ रहा. I started to in instances feel like this is some superhero origin story, or maybe this is feminist literature that my privileged male mind just can't comprehend. Maybe it's an extension of simply breaking free from the patriarchal setup of constant ridicule and vitriol. And it all manifests into you becoming a raw animal-eating carnivore. I just have to confess, this is one of those movies that I just did not fully get, and if you do, please write down your thesis on what possibly went down. Number 3 goes to Weapons. This is a movie that got the most hype this weekend, owing to its 100% Rotten Tomatoes score and everyone spreading that this is the best horror movie of the year. If you love Zach's previous film Barbarian, then you're definitely in for a treat, but let me be honest, don't pay much attention to the noise. We are so conditioned to read so much about the film and the hype surrounding it that we come with preconceived notions expecting a particular type of film, leading to our analysis of the film not being what the film is, but what comparatively it was to the hype associated with it. I hope you get what I mean. The movie focuses on a bunch of kids from a classroom who at 2:17 am ran away from their homes Naruto style and never came back. The film brilliantly provides us the perspective of several characters and what their experience has been leading up to the event and the aftermath. This is something that takes time to get used to, but I really wanted to say that Zach's screenplay is masterful because his creative tool to show different perspectives actually works wonders for the film. The performances of the cast are brilliant. Julia Garner as the class teacher, who is an absolute alcoholic mess and is curious about what may have gone wrong in her class. Josh Brolin as the concerned father, wanting to crack the case himself. An insomniac distracted at work who can't get over the mysterious circumstances in which his son left him. I must truly commend Kerry Christopher, the little boy who played Alex. His reaction shots and the sheer disbelief of what is happening is extremely convincing. The film has the ability to keep you on your toes, but what's interesting is the balance it keeps with its comedic elements too. I was shocked on how much the film tends to deviate towards the light-hearted even in the most intense scenes, and that's something I'm already preparing you for. You may think that this is going to be an intense, creepy horror film, but no, it is extremely zany in its pitch, in its concluding moments where the film should be its most intense. It categorically relies on comedic gags, making me conclude that this isn't necessarily a horror film per se, but an investigative thriller at best with some horror elements. The film especially coming in full gear with the integration of Amy Madigan as Gladys, truly putting forth a very creepy performance. I must say that many people may find the premise itself to be an analogy of world leaders and the power of influence and manipulation, but if you were to strictly analyze the film for what it was, I had quite the fun time with this film. The conclusion is, when everything goes bad crazy, I was laughing and clapping on what was going down on the screen. I never expected that to be a reality. Usually you're biting your nails wishing there isn't a jump scare. Here it's just chaos. You can literally put the De Danadan soundtrack and it would fit. I'm serious. If I were to deduce even further for Hindi film fans, its concept is quite similar to a Hindi horror hit that you have seen recently. Those who have seen it will know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 2 goes to Together. This was a movie that I went in for just because I love both Dave Franco and Alison Brie, but little did I know I was stepping in for my favorite film of the weekend. The movie, directed by Michael Shanks, focuses on Tim and Millie, who are dealing with their own set of problems as a couple. Tim is a struggling musician dealing with his own demons due to his traumatic childhood, and Millie is essentially the mother of the relationship, trying to keep a sinking ship afloat. The couple, in order to spice things up and attempt a restart in their lives, move away from the city where Millie works in a school and Tim attempts to make music. While trying to connect as a couple on a hike, they find themselves in a mysterious trail only for things to never be the same afterwards. How or why the bodies of the two principal characters act like the way they do, being unexplainably drawn to each other, making it impossible to stay apart, forms the basic premise of Together. The film sets up the dynamic of the couple brilliantly. Things have gone stale and one is simply coexisting, hoping for a miracle, and this undercurrent of tension is exceptionally written, becoming oddly apparent for careful observers and even strangers that something is amiss. Through many instances, you will notice the couple to simply be incompatible, yet trudging along, a case of a couple pushing through despite identifying the glaring red flags. While one sequence did make me chuckle because it reminded me of Judwa 2, yes, you heard that right, I found the progression of events so riveting, especially on how the characters are placed in the most awkward situations, but this extends to becoming the most horrifying circumstances too. This is further enhanced by a creepy performance by David Herman, and when it all comes together of understanding what may be happening to the couple, it really dials in on the creepy element, making Together really a chilling, freaky and gory body horror film that I thoroughly enjoyed. You see the absolute mania that sets in and how both the characters accept it as their fate. Even though the CBFC works its magic in the conclusion, where a majestic scene could have looked so creepily awesome, it's chopped up abruptly for the Indian theatres, where it loses the zing that the climax warranted. Irrespective of that, it was a bloody good time on the big screen. Number 1 goes to Andaaz 2. This is hands down one of the most horrifying films I have seen this weekend. The spiritual sequel to the Sunil Darshan produced film Andaaz, the movie launches new faces and some known in the forefront. I'll get to the compliment of the silver lining out of the gate instantly. The music of this film has been composed by Nadeem, and it is genuinely one of the only entertaining and interesting parts of the film. The music composer was wildly popular in the 90s and early 2000s, and you see why people still love the music of that era. The film's storyline is an absolute abomination, a triangle love story of a musician who gets signed by a star who obsesses over him, but the musician loves someone else, and why this acts as a conflict of interest is the film. If you want to see a director having zero evolution, then see this film for the travesty it is, that the director still feels that the tonality of the 90s and 2000s will work in 2025. You have Dolly Bindra. Yes, Dolly Bindra lusting over the hero in every scene while asking for dahi like the friendly neighbor she is. The film has the most poker-faced performances. While our leading man Ayush looks like a doppelganger of Ibrahim Ali Khan, he just fares better than the product of nepotism, and that isn't really a compliment. They talk about Hamare Zamane ki filmein, but both the heroines are styled like they are in the most sleazy music video. Each scene features both the actors wearing low-cut tops and being sensual and provocative even when not required. The film's dubbing and visual quality seems to be right out of a tin can or an advertisement of Pet Safa. Talk about being stuck in a time machine, and the film, just like having an independent Johnny Lever track in the 90s or a random action scene to showcase the prowess of the hero, does precisely the same. A random villain called Yeda Bhai randomly appears, and the friends of the hero have the most over-the-top reaction shots and performances for comedic relief. Characters interact with each other but never look at one another. They look off in the distance, almost mindful so that their profile looks nice on camera. The dialogues are atrocious, wanting to translate in English for no reason. You have dialogues like, "You are incorrigible," a song like, "You are beautiful, I am beautiful," and parents who keep on roasting the son Bagban style, ki ye haathon mein tum tun tun leke ghumte rehte ho. The women wake up with a full face of makeup and jewelry like the old TV serials, and the hero has the audacity to lecture on morality and loyalty while being unfaithful too. It's the wildest and most boring film with parental melodrama and the regressive tropes of what women should do when they go to sasural. The filmmaker manipulates the viewer by integrating visuals of Hindu gods to denote the sanskar they are imparting, but it's farcical and offensive. Characters with a dusky tone are told, "Aaj isne pakka kali dal khai hogi," and flirting is denoted by the lines, "Tony Rosie ke saath cozy ho jaye bas." The film at the most odd intervals transitions to songs. A sad scene would happen and suddenly they are hip thrusting in the desert. Another sad scene will happen. Someone is in the hospital and this guy with his band is jamming on Juhu beach. भाई कोई मर रहा है वहां पे. I feel for some of the newcomers because they just want a break, but my god, was this just a train wreck, making it truly the most horrifying film of the weekend. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movies that I've spoken about in this video. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.